All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming to Building Confidence as a Leader. This is a 4-week workshop series that we're running here in the second half of the Toastmasters year. And the purpose of these 4 sessions are to first gain some foundational skills in terms of leadership, in terms of leading people and teams to achieve success. And there's different aspects that we'll be speaking to in each of the 4 different sessions. Today, our speaker is Laverne Wojciechowski, who's a past district director for District 64. She helped lead us through District 64, lead us through part of the pandemic. There's several tough years when everything was getting locked down, and she helped in part of that leadership and part of that journey that District 64 has gone through. So today, she will be presenting some ideas on leadership and visioning, I believe. So please help me welcome Laverne Wojciechowski to the floor.
Fellow Toastmasters, the visionary leader. This was a great topic for me when I started out in Toastmasters because I never really knew what that actually meant. Like what did having a vision mean as a leader? So tonight I wanted to share that with you and show you how having a vision, or even sometimes not having a vision, but leading the people who have a vision, will help you get through whatever project you're trying to lead. So the visionary leader, let's start off with the definition of what is a vision. Well, a vision is a mental picture of what an organization aspires to become. Or if you're working on a project, what you picture your project turning out as in the end. And later on, I'm going to talk to you about when I was a skating coach and planning an ice show and how that vision looked for me. So the purpose of a vision statement is to give general direction to the group. So as a group, you want to decide what it is that you're actually trying to achieve and what that general direction is going to look like. You want it to have enough information in it that it's going to provide a context for decision making. So if you look at like the vision statement and mission statement for Toastmasters, there's information in there that tells you this is what we're striving for. So for example, if you look at the mission statement for the district, it talks about building new clubs and retaining old clubs. So those are the two, and I'm paraphrasing there, but that's essentially what it means. It's prop up the clubs and build some new ones. So it gives you a context for what you're going to be working with. So if something comes in from the side, you look at that and you go, okay, well, is that helping me build a new club or is it helping me resurrect a club? So you need to have enough information in that vision to help you decide on those decisions that you have to make during the journey for the project or the organization that you're leading. And this also affects the organization structure. So how you envision things and how you plan your groups and which people you involve are going to affect how your organization is going to look. And it also affects the working relationships. Because if everybody is working towards this vision and has a say in the vision, then you're all going to be lined up and following that path together. If you don't have a concrete vision or one that's really defined well, then you're going to find people going off in different directions and they're not going to really know exactly what's my purpose here. They'll start questioning, what's my purpose here and why am I here and what am I working towards to get to where we need to be. So the characteristics of a vision statement will be that it's clear. Like I say, it has to be clear for everybody so that they understand what they're working towards so that you can guide that ship through the storms and to the harbor at the end of your project. it has to have a little bit of challenge in it, because some people actually thrive on challenge. You don't necessarily want to be working on the same old, same old. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it kind of gets boring. And if you have something that's challenging for some of the people, and they have the skills to do it, you put the two together, the skills and the challenge, then you'll be surprised at what you can get out of people when they're working towards that project, because they're actually using those talents to where they need to be. And it's not the same boring, same old, same old. And they're general too. You don't want to get into too much or into the weeds. If you have a vision statement that's too descriptive, then you might not be accomplishing all your goals. So you want it general enough that people can relate to, and then just general enough that it's covering what you need to cover for the particular project that you're working on. It needs to be people oriented. So you want to be looking at the people that are going to be helping you out, like the teams that you're going to be working with, and what's in it for them. Because if there's a little bit of what's in it for them and their input into it, they'll also be more willing to help and grow and work together in the team. It should be inspiring as well. If someone sees that mission and feels that, yes, it's helping me, or it's going to help the group that we're working with, or help us get to where we need to be, and it's inspiring, it brings people along and they want to be involved. They want to help to get to where you need to go. And it needs to be something that's easily communicated. You don't want a bunch of words in it that don't mean anything, or big complicated words that nobody can remember. You want something that's easily communicated to the group that you're going to be working with. So when you're thinking about crafting this vision or the vision statement, you have to look at things that the organization does well, or what the project's purpose is that you're working towards. It's what do we do well? And I think of our vision statement at work. We want to be the best in class organization at handling restoration project for nuclear waste. So it's what we're working on, what we do well, what we handle. And what's the most important thing that the organization wants to do? So when you're sitting down and crafting this, you have to plan. So what's the one thing that we're trying to accomplish? You don't want to be having too many directions. You don't want to be saying, oh, we do this and we do this and we do this. You want to focus in on what that thing is that you're working towards. So in the example I gave, it was handling the waste, right? We want to be the best in class at restoring and restructuring our site to handle the waste that we've generated. So it's not about, oh, we're going to do more experiments over here, or, oh, we're going to handle dealing with some contracts on the side. It's not about those things. It's about that one focus that describes the whole entire thing that we're working on. It can also have something in there about what makes the organization unique or special. Is that sometimes what we're working on is a unique item or a unique project. And we want to emphasize that. We want to make that important. And that helps draw the people in your team in as well, because they'll feel special that they're working towards something special. What does the team expect from the organization? That's another way to look at the vision statement. It's what are we doing? What can people expect from us? And what makes them feel good about the organization? Again, that ties into what makes us special and unique. If we feel good about what we're doing, if we feel like we're accomplishing something or getting towards where we need to be, or it fits in with our values, our core values personally, then again, it draws the team together, it gels, and everybody has that common vision of where they want to be. So when you're crafting a vision statement, you have to involve the team members, because you need to get their buy-in. You need to have the willingness to achieve the vision. If you don't have them in the planning or development of it, then it's going to be hard to get the buy-in. So you need that willingness to achieve the vision from them. And it also helps them control their future. It helps them plan how they're going to contribute and where they're going to be and what they're getting out of this and how it's helping them progress to where they need to be. It also fosters cooperation and collaboration. So you get to learn to work with the team and resolve any conflicts or differences of opinion where you need to define that vision. And it helps you get the teams, I guess the word is gelled, to make them feel that they're working together where they want to be, and get that collaboration started by actually working on the vision statement. So when you get the vision, you have to help the team embrace the vision. So now that you've defined it, now you want to make sure that everybody is envisioning it and knows what it is. So you need to be constantly communicating and talking about the vision all the time, because you need to reinforce that fact that we're working together to get to a common goal. And they need to remember, oh yeah, that's why I'm doing this, right? Because they may go away and do their little task or their little piece of work. And after a while, they might go, oh, I don't know, this might not be fun anymore. I don't know. But if you're constantly talking about, we can get to the end, we can do this, this is your task, and you fit in here, and talk about the vision all the time, then people are involved and want to get to where you need to be. You also can explain how it will benefit them. So if they're working towards a goal and participating in a team, you can talk about the skills that they're bringing to the team, the new things that they're learning, and how that's going to help them in the future in other tasks and teams that they're on. And be enthusiastic. If you're the leader and you're communicating the vision, you have to buy in on it, and you have to be so enthusiastic about it, because some people need that person who's the team leader or the cheerleader and gets the people going and gets them together. So you have to be enthusiastic about it. You can't just do it half the way. You have to be that cheerleader for the group and be enthusiastic about what the vision is. And you have to show that you mean it. So you have to also contribute and get the problem solved, get the team working together. You have to put in your part as the leader, and whatever tasks you agree to do, you have to show that you mean it, and you have to work hard at it and show that you're making progress and that everything's gelling and working together. So in conclusion, with building this vision and vision statement, if you want to build a ship, don't drum up people to collect wood, and don't assign them tasks and work, but rather teach them to long for the endless immensity of the sea. And that's what it's all about, in that being enthusiastic and show that you mean it. Inspire the people to follow you with this great vision that you came up with. And at this point, I'm going to stop the share, and I want to share with you how this relates to Laverne when she was a skating coach and planning her first ice show with a bunch of kids and parents, and how this all works. Back in the early 2000s, I became a professional can skate coach with Skate Canada at our local skating club. And one of the things that we were expected to do was to have a showcase of the kids at the end of the year to show what skills they learned during the skating season. When I approached the club to say, we need to plan this ice show, they were all, oh, I don't know if we can do this. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if we can do this. And at that point, it was, okay, I guess as the coach, I will be leading this, as opposed to the executive of the skating club who are all, oh, no, I'm not going to do this. But I thought, I need to get some buy-in from the parents to participate. And I need to get some buy-in from the kids, because they're the ones that are going to be putting on the show. So I sat down with the parents and talked with them about what do you see for a vision for the show? Because what I see for the vision is, I see the kids going out there and having fun. I see smiling little faces. I see them all excited to get out on the ice with their little costumes on to show mom and dad and grandma and cousins and brothers and sisters, look what I learned this year during skating. And I could vision them all lined up against the boards in their little groups, waiting to come out on the ice with this enthusiasm and excitement, and having like a special place for them to come out on the ice. Having great music, like nice, peppy music that everybody could skate to. And that was the vision that I had. And when I shared it with the adults, they were like, okay, you can plan the music and figure out the choreography, and we'll do the costuming and plan anything that needs to be done on dry land. So that's how we split up the skills. They bought into the vision because they wanted their kids to have fun. They wanted to have put on this show, but they didn't want to deal with any of the things that involved anything on the ice. They were okay with being off the ice and dealing with everything else. So at that point, we worked with that vision, and I managed to divide up the parents into different groups. So we had the ones that were working on costumes, the one that had to work on the program, the ones that would be working the door that night to collect any admission fee. We needed a music person to play the music and be prompted. And I also needed to work with the kids. So that was the parents. That was the team of parents. Then I had my team of kids, and I had probably 7 or 8 teams of kids. And I had to work with my program assistants, who were the girls that would help on the ice. So we had to figure out the choreography for each of the little groups that were going out. And I ended up picking out the music for everything. But we had to have practices, and we had to have run-throughs, and we had to cooperate and figure out, well, how are we going to get these kids to move around the ice? Because some of them didn't move much, but we wanted to show all the skills they learned. And some of them could skate laps around the rink. So we had to work together as a team to figure out who's doing what, where, and when. So I had the groups of parents and the group of kids to work with. In the end, it all gelled, and we got the show on the road. The neatest thing was, I told the parents there was this song called Fireflies that I wanted to end up with at the end of the show, because the theme ended up being on colors, and we picked songs that had different colors. So there was I forget exactly which songs we picked, but for example, the Kermit, when he'd sing the song about being green, right? And then there was another sort of disco song that had blue in it. So there was all these different songs with colors, and the parents were working with colors for the costumes for those events or those routines. But at the end, I said I wanted a really big wow. It's something to wow the parents. And that song Fireflies was out, and I thought, wouldn't that be cool if all the kids came out on the ice and they had little flashlights, and we could turn the lights off in the rink? It would look so cool if they were skating around like that. And the other thing I was thinking too, well, we could try and do colored ice. If we could get color on the ice and get that in there, because it was the end of the season. Well, my colored ice idea didn't fly, because the hockey wouldn't like that if we started coloring ice on them. But the parents picked up on the whole firefly thing. So they went to all the little dollar stores and found those little flashlights like this. And they got a flashlight for each one of the little kids. And at the end of the show, we handed them all out to the kids. And they figured out how to get the lights so that they could dim it enough that everybody could still see, but it was dark enough that we could see all the little fireflies skating around the rink. And it was awesome. It looked so cool when that happened. So that was the vision that we had for this show, the kids having fun and having that spectacular ending. And it all worked because we had that vision and we had that goal of what we were striving for. And if we didn't have that, if we didn't have where we wanted to be and how it should look at the end, I don't think we would have been as successful putting on that show. So that's my experience about being a visionary leader and where it actually really paid off for me working in another organization and taking on that leadership of getting that show on the road. So that's my story. Back to you, Stephen.
Thank you so much, Laverne. Are you able to take a few questions? Are you open
Sure.
to?
Sure.
First off, are there any questions from the floor about a visionary leadership or setting a vision, or maybe any examples in each of your areas in terms of any leadership opportunities that you've been able to embrace? Ooh, Lorette.
Yeah, I do, and I agree with Laverne as far as the vision. In my club in Speaking Made Easy Toastmasters, right at the beginning of the year, we set our vision to be distinguished 10 out of 10. That's our vision throughout the whole year. And it works. It works every year because we always tell them, look, we need 5 more members, we need 4 more members, or whatever it is that we need for that particular vision. And they know the vision at the beginning of the year, and we talk about it all the way through the year, and it works really well.
That's fantastic, Lorette. Are there any other leadership roles within the Toastmasters universe that could benefit from maybe setting a team vision? So that's speaking to the club level, but I'm assuming perhaps there could be area and division director. Or any comment?
As the convention chair this year, I start out with my vision, and then I took it to my committee and got their vision, and so some of the things that I was thinking of didn't happen, like the location of the thing, but I was able to work with that, and so I got a lot of input from my committee. And then I think when you get them to have input into the vision, then they're more willing to buy into the vision and support the vision.
That's really great to hear the commonality. So everything that Laverne has presented definitely resonates, and you can see that common theme across different team environments. Does anyone else have any questions for Laverne? Or maybe any challenges to bring up in terms of galvanizing a team to kind of have that North Star, that vision to work towards? Hearing from Stephen and Laverne, the buy-in, having that team buy-in is important.
Yeah, what I found is if you let people work on the things that they know they can do and give them a little bit of a challenge and not a big challenge, like the parents who wanted to do costuming, let them do costuming. The ones that are good working on the computer to do the program, let them decide who wants to work on the program. If people just want to be there and contribute the day of and stand at the door, so be it, and let those ones handle that. Like let the skills that they have shine through what they're they can do to contribute to the project.
Liz, I see that you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my video, so I'll just make a comment or two. I agree with Laverne's analysis of the vision and engaging the team for sure. I know that we've done open houses, and the only way it really works is if you have the full team pulling in the same direction and engaged with that vision. And also, I agree with what Stephen said with his leadership of the convention, because I know that when I did my high performance leadership project, it was also based on a convention, and we had a number of different teams working on different aspects of it. So it lightens the load for everyone, and it also, as I said, makes everyone work in the same direction. So it's great. I love teams.
Yeah, go teams. Woot woot.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you, Liz. Laverne, for the aspiring leaders out there that maybe haven't had the opportunity to step into a leadership role, do you have any just initial guidance on maybe if they take on that next leadership role, what would be the best way to approach, achieving a vision? Any additional comments?
Well, I found the first time that I was asked to be president of anything, I had no leadership skills, or at least I thought I didn't. And I had no clue what I was supposed to do. Don't let that stop you, because there is learning and it's a challenge, but you go out and you learn, you take some training, you figure out what you need to do, and then you go with it. The people are behind you. Generally, people are behind you. I've found in all the different leadership roles I've had, there are the people who are the keeners and want to do and help and suggest. And then there's the ones that just want to be led. They just want to be, tell me what to do and I'll do it for you. And there's a lot of those too, because they're not even sure what they're supposed to be doing or how they contribute, but they know they want to help, but they just don't want to be in front of anything. They just want, tell me what to do and I'll do it. So you have to figure out who these people are, how they are, and just get them to do what skills they can do best. But that's part of the leadership job, is figuring out, well, who can do what and who wants to do what, and communicating with people so you can see where they can contribute. But like I say, the very first time I was asked to be president of anything, it was like, I don't know. And every time I've taken on a leadership role, it's been a little different, and each one's had its own little challenge. But I would say, try it out, do it, because you will learn so much from it. And you can take those skills that you learn in that leadership role and you can apply it to other areas in your life. So don't be afraid of the challenge. I was kind of forced into that role because nobody else wanted it and there wasn't enough people around at the time. But I'm happy I did it, because I actually learned. I didn't realize up until that point in life that I was never really a leader of anything. And that made me think in a different way and want to go out there and learn, and make me realize that I am the connection between my group and the outside world. Like whether the outside world was the next level higher in the organization or the outside world in general. It was me that was representing them. So I had to make sure that I had the training, I had the knowledge, and that my team was working together to help us to get where we needed to be. So I would say, don't be afraid of the challenge, especially if it's like you're not running a multi-million-dollar company most of the time. It's mostly you're a board member of some organization. So take the challenge, try it out, and see where you go, because you will learn from it. You definitely will learn from it.
Oh, that's awesome, Laverne. I really like that, being to your point of being a conduit, you have your team, but a conduit outwardly, and the whole part about building relationships for that rapport, getting to know your team, to see on how they tick and how they want to contribute, are very powerful things to do. Would you say that the fear of stretching and growing, I guess the first time you step into that role, there's that fear, but then you go to that next one and then the fear's there again, and then it's always just kind of present? Or what has been your experience? Because you've traversed from club officer, area director, you've done the whole trio. That's a lot of growth. That's a lot of growth.
It is, and it's each level had its own challenges. And each time I took on the next level, I felt like that I was actually growing a bit more. I found that there was a big leap between me being club president and area director. At that point, I didn't realize how much I knew the roles in the club until I went to my first area director visit. And they challenged me with, at that point in time, area directors had to go and give a presentation to the club. So I was prepared to do that. And then when I got there, they were short of people. So they asked me to run the table topic session and to evaluate one of the speeches, because they were going to have 3 speeches that night, in addition to my speech that I was giving at the beginning. So I didn't realize until that meeting how much I could handle and how much I could take on in a meeting, and how much I actually knew and could share with the club when they started asking questions. I never realized that until I got out of the club and at a different position and was learning as I was going with that. And I really enjoyed that role because I got to see other clubs and how they operated. And it was kind of neat to see the difference between all the clubs. And then after that, when you move up to division director, it's more like a middle management position rather than a boots on the ground type position. So again, you learn different skills because it's a different type of position. And the same with as I progressed through the leadership ranks at the district level. I did the PR role 1 year, and that's all about marketing and advertising and trying to get your name out there. Then there was the club growth director, which again is different because you're looking at building new clubs and keeping clubs going. And then the program quality is all about the training and the events, like again, different skills. And district director was kind of everything, right? So each role was different, and each one had different learnings that I had from it. So for me, it was almost like, okay, where's the next challenge? I conquered this one. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? So that's the way I looked at it. And yes, there were times where it was like almost scary, where you're like, oh my God, what are we doing? Right? But you overcome that and you figure it out, and you have a team to help you. And you work your way through it and you get to the end. And when you get to the end, you're like, yes, I did it. I can do this, right? I can do this. So I'd say, don't be scared. Whenever you have an opportunity like that, say yes and try it and try it out, because you will surprise yourself at how much you actually know and can do.
It's almost like when you're in that space of, oh, you got that nervous trepidation. And if I heard you correctly, say yes, jump in, do it, because you'll be better off for having done it, and you'll enjoy the experience all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
because I like I say, that area director visit, that really surprised me. And it always has stuck with me through my whole leadership journey, just how much I had learned at that point and how much more I could grow because I was stretching myself.
So we still have a little bit of time. Is there anyone else on the call that has any questions for Laverne? She has immense experience, long experience with Toastmasters, both in breadth and in depth, in terms of traversing the leadership ladder and contributing, mentoring the gambit. So we have a wealth of experience here to draw from. Are there any remaining questions for Laverne? All right, seeing none, I don't think there's any in the chat. So let's give a round of applause. Let's take ourselves off of mute. Let's see if we can make some clap noise. We need that familiar clap noise. So let's give a round of applause for Laverne Wojciechowski, past district director for District 64.
Thank you, Laverne.
Oh, thank you everyone for attending tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laverne.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Laverne.
That concludes this
Thank
session.
you.